Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Lauren Conlon from Pop Crime TV. I decided to do an impromptu live stream because I saw this headline last night and I just dove right in. And now there has been an official response. So I'm going to be going over the lawsuit that names former Yankee. And apparently, I don't really know anything about sports, but apparently, Mariano Rivera was one of the best closers of all time. So this is very unfortunate, and I'm just gonna check the chat for a minute. I'm going too fast, aren't I? I mean, I don't have all the time in the world because I do have to grab my kids pretty soon. But hey, Hermit Sal. Hey, Afton. I'm glad you're listening from work. Hi, Sinead. So I will go over the lawsuit and I will go over the police reports as well because yes, there are police reports. And when I read the headline last night, I actually emailed the defense attorney because I figured that would be the quickest way to get my hands on this lawsuit. And then I asked him if there was a criminal complaint lodged and he said no, but there were police reports. So we will get into that. But first, I'll just top level explain Mariano Rivera and his wife Clara are accused of helping cover up an alleged abuse scandal that involves their church, the Hope of Refuge Church in New Rochelle. And they have recently spoken out and denied these claims. So, really quickly, let me just pull up the New York Post article. It literally just came out. Let's see. Okay, not just came out. I lied. Like 3 hours ago. So Yankees legend Mariano Rivera, wife Clara, denied covering up child SA after bombshell lawsuit. So let me read to you exactly what their lawyer said on their behalf. The lawyer said, and their lawyer, his name is Joseph A. Ruta, and he said, quote, Mariano and Clara Rivera do not tolerate child abuse of any kind, and allegations that they knew about or failed to act on reports of child abuse are completely false. The very first time they heard about these allegations was nearly 4 years ago after the alleged incident, when in 2022, a New York attorney sent a letter requesting a financial settlement. Ooh. This letter was followed by a second letter in 2023 from a different Florida law firm, again, requesting financial settlement. The lawsuit, which seeks financial damages for the Rivera's alleged failure to act on the alleged incidents that were never reported to them, is full of inaccurate and misleading statements, which we have no doubt will not hold up in a court of law. Okay, that's interesting. I have some thoughts because reading the police report, I feel like this survivor, she was very young and she was very damaged, and she didn't end up telling her mother for a few years, and this is because of a doctor's appointment that she went to where and I can read this in the documents, but the doctor apparently said something else is wrong here. She went to the doctor, the minor victim, for something else, and the doctor said, okay, I'm seeing something else wrong here, we should probably call in DCS. And they called in DCS, and that's when the victim's mother, who's known as Mother Doe in this lawsuit, found out that her daughter was allegedly abused like between 15 and 20 times. And it's a little unclear, some of this stuff in the police report, but it sounds like there are other victims and survivors as well. So this is interesting, though, that they are denying everything. And also the fact that they received a letter in 2022, requesting money. So let's look and see if they said anything else. Okay, yeah. And this lawsuit was filed in the state Supreme Court in Westchester. It alleged that the plaintiff, referred to as Jane Doe, was repeatedly sexually abused. YouTube's going to censor me. S8 in the dorm shower at the Ignite Life Center in Gainesville, Florida, by an older girl. And yeah, wait, that's what's kind of crazy. The first instance of abuse is from an older girl to a younger girl. That's something that we don't really hear about very often. So let's get into the lawsuit. Like I said, I find it really interesting that they responded very quickly and they are denying these claims. I think it's great they responded quickly. And I hope that this isn't true. I have a hard time I have a hard time with this one because a lot of churches, they would rather cover things up and brush it under the rug, in my experience in covering this stuff, than deal with it head on because they are worried about the fallout. So I'm going to share the lawsuit. Now, this is, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. Jane A. Doe, an infant by her mother and natural guardian, Mother A. Doe plaintiff against Refugio de Esperanza Inc., aka Refuge of Hope, and that's the church, and One Brookview Rye. I think that's the address. But yeah, this church is Mariano Rivera and his wife's church. They run it. I think he was a pastor at one point, and maybe she was as well. But as far as I know right now, Clara Rivera is in charge of the day-to-day operations there. So this is not going to be a very good look for them. Hi, Kay. Good to see you. All right. I know, Sal, it does seem like there's way too much child essay going on here. I really don't know. It's awful. And that's why, I saw this and I was like, I do want to cover it because I want to get to the bottom of this. I mean, if this was covered up and in the police report, something really disturbing, and I actually put this on Twitter, was said to this victim, allegedly, I was speculating that it was said to the victim by Mariano and Clara Rivera, but again, I'm speculating and nothing is confirmed. But when she claims that she told them, they discouraged her from going to law enforcement and they said that God will correct all evil, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, that seems like something that you would say to try to gaslight somebody younger so they don't go to police, and especially because this involves a church. So getting back to the lawsuit here. Okay. I always I'm so bad about making this. Okay, there we go. So bad about making this bigger. All right. I want to go down. Okay, here are the parties. Plaintiff Jane A. Doe is residing in Georgia. She brings this claim by and through her mother and natural guardian, Mother A. Doe. Both Jane A. Doe and Mother A. Doe may be contacted through undersigned counsel. The case arises from Jane A. Doe's SA by multiple individuals affiliated with the defendants, given the nature of the underlying allegations, as well as Jane A. Doe's tender age. Jane A. Doe's name is not contained in this complaint, so to protect her privacy, the use of pseudonyms, okay, blah, 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 we got that. Defendant Refugio de Esperanza Inc., aka Refuge of Hope, I'm just going to call it Refuge of Hope, is a not-for-profit corporation organized under the laws of Delaware and registered to do business in New York. It's located in Westchester. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so the One Brookview Rye LLC was a limited liability, or is a limited liability company organized and existing under the state of New York with its principal place of business in Westchester. At all times relevant, Brookview owned the premises located at 1 Brookview Lane, Rye, New York. Okay. Jurisdiction and venue, Westchester County. All right, here we go. Statement of facts here. And just going to the chat really quick. Yeah, it does happen way too often. That we were just saying that, I think, Kay, before you joined. It's so disgusting, but it just makes me want to get to the bottom of this, because I also feel like there could possibly be more victims if what this minor alleged is true. And in the police report, they do actually hint that there are more victims. And look, if the Riveras were never told, I mean, they were never told, I just don't know why they would put their names in this lawsuit so much just because they own the church. I mean, that doesn't really make sense. I don't know. And it's not like they're defendants in the lawsuit either. So keep that in mind. Okay. Statement of facts. Jane A. Doe was born in 2007. Jane A. Doe was a member of and regularly attended church services and events at Refuge of Hope from an early age. She and her family attended religious services at Refuge of Hope for years leading up to the incidents. Upon information and belief, the church is part of a global cooperative body of the Assemblies of God religion. I don't really know that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, what denomination that is. I'm not sure. Through Jane A. Doe's attendance at Refuge, Jane A. Doe was introduced to an affiliated church of Refuge, the Ignite Life Center, which is another Assemblies of God church located in Gainesville, Florida. In or around 2018, Clara Rivera, an employee or agent of Refuge and the pastor of Refuge, recommended to Mother A. Doe that Jane A. Doe attend a summer internship in Gainesville at the Ignite Life Center, named the Ignite Summer Internship. In approximately summer of 2018, Jane A. Doe traveled to Florida to attend the Ignite Summer Internship, and to ensure she could attend the summer program, Refuge paid Jane Doe's expenses associated with the summer internship. That's nice. Well, I guess knowing what I know now, maybe not so nice, but the Ignite Summer Internship required kids to reside at Ignite Life Center for the duration of the program without parental supervision. Okay, so at this point, if she was born in 2007, and this was 2018, yeah, she was young. She was like 11. So the Ignite Summer Internship required kids to reside there without supervision, and Jane A. Doe was assigned to a dorm with other kids, including MG, a much older camper who also attended Refuge. Okay, so let's just point out that MG here, those are the initials of the SA, the abuser, I guess, and they are using her initials because she was a minor at the time. So, and again, keep in mind, this is a girl that abused a younger girl, allegedly. Throughout the duration of the summer camp, MG repeatedly SA'd Jane A. Doe in the camp's dorm and shower by fondling and rhymes with penetrating Jane A. Doe's breasts, butt, and genitals against Jane A. Doe's will. I wonder if YouTube is going to censor me. Like I said, still learning. But this is really disturbing. While Jane A. Doe was at the Ignite Summer Internship, she was only sporadically allowed to call her parents. During one particular phone call, Jane A. Doe's mother learned information that made her concerned about Jane A. Doe's safety at the summer camp. As a result, Mother A. Doe called Pastor Clara to report that she was concerned for Jane Doe's safety at the summer camp. And in response, Ms. Rivera assured Mother A. Doe that she would investigate Mother A. Doe's report and respond accordingly. Ms. Rivera and her husband, Refuge employee volunteer Mariana Rivera, then traveled from New York to Florida to see Jane A. Doe at the Ignite Life Summer Internship. That's really interesting. So they traveled, they heard this news that something was going on, and I don't know if they already had plans to travel there, and it just so happened to be around the same time. But that would seem to me like they're concerned and taking action here. But let's go on. So they fly from New York to Florida. And during that trip, the Riveras, in their capacity as agents for the defendants, the Refuge of Hope Church, received information that should have given them concern that Jane A. Doe was being SA'd by MG. Let's read that again. In their capacity as agents for the defendants, which is the church, they received information that should have given them concern that Jane A. Doe was being SA'd. Okay, they received information that should have given them concern. That seems like a weird way to phrase something. I don't know if that's just me, but I think that's kind of some odd phrasing. Were they told directly? I mean, if they were told directly, I guess they would say that. They were told that this was happening. Maybe they weren't told directly and maybe they misunderstood. Let's go on. Rather than take sufficient action to end the SA of Jane A. Doe or otherwise reasonably investigate the unsafe conditions that led to Mother A. Doe's report to Ms. Rivera, the Riveras each separately isolated and intimidated Jane A. Doe to remain silent about her negative experiences at the summer internship including her abuse by MG to avoid causing trouble for Refuge and the Ignite Life summer internship. Okay, this is interesting. So they're saying that it includes the alleged SA. So I guess she had other experiences there that were negative that were not involving alleged SA. That's another interesting way to phrase things. They don't really seem to get into any of the other experiences that she had that were negative, but okay. Let's go on. In order to avoid the potential scandal of child SA in its programs and otherwise protect defendants above all else, defendants meaning the church, the Riveras, in their capacities as agents and or employees of the church, assured Mother A. Doe that Jane Doe was safe and in no danger at Ignite Life Center, despite actual or constructive knowledge that Jane A. Doe remained vulnerable to additional acts of SA by MG. Despite actual or constructive knowledge. Okay, this is really interesting. Another weird phrasing here where it says they either have the knowledge or they had an idea or they didn't have direct knowledge. I think that this is really interesting, a lot of this phrasing, because it seems to me like maybe the Riveras didn't, they were not told directly. Again, I don't know. I'm just reading through this. A comment. Let's see. Hey, Lauren. Wow, this is very serious. I'm from New York and my mom actually knows Mariano and his wife. This is not anything like how we know this family. I'm hearing the same thing, that most people are very surprised by this. Mariano Rivera has a really good reputation. I agree. But the wording is really interesting here. Like I said, tell me if you guys agree with this, but it just seems to me like it's not direct. I mean, listen, I wasn't there, but on one hand, people aren't exactly mind readers, right? You have to be direct. And on the other hand, it also sounds like mom maybe didn't know exactly what was going on during this time. And I say this because of the police report where she stated that she didn't actually know what was going on until 2022. So maybe she just knew her daughter and she knew something was wrong. And then Jane Doe told the Riveras in confidence, trusting them as other adults. I don't know. Let's go on because yeah, this is really interesting. Okay. In addition to their respective roles as employees, volunteers, or agents of Refuge, Mariano Rivera and Clara were at all times relevant, also employees and agents of Brookview. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Defendants, this is the church, hosted the barbecue for the minor children who attended Refuge. Parents, including but not limited to Mother A. Doe, were not invited to attend the event. Despite having actual and or constructive knowledge of MG's abuse perpetrated upon Jane A. Doe and the risk she posed to other children, defendants nonetheless invited MG to the barbecue, which Jane Doe also attended. During the barbecue, Jane A. Doe was left unsupervised with MG at Brookview, despite what defendants knew or should have known. Of the risk of harm that MG posed to Jane A. Doe. During the barbecue, MG once again SA'd the minor Jane A. Doe by engaging in acts that would constitute a S offense under Article 130 of the New York Penal Law. At the time of MG's SA of Jane Doe at the barbecue, defendants each controlled and or operated Brookview. The church operated Brookview. At all times relevant, defendant. Okay. This is, again, these catchphrases. They should have known. Why should they have known? I guess this is what I'm confused about. I mean, thinking out loud, could it be possible that maybe Jane A. Doe didn't know how to verbalize what was happening to her at the time because she was so young? That could be it. I mean, she was, what did I say? She was 11 or 12 years old. I think she was 11. Maybe she didn't know how to verbalize this. So they didn't really know what was truly going on. That could be another option. Yeah, the phrasing is kind of bothering me with this a little bit as I read it. Okay. And at all times relevant, they had superior knowledge of the risk of harm that Jane A. Doe would be SA'd in their care and failed to inform Jane A. Doe and or her parents of the superior knowledge of the risk of harm to Jane A. Doe. To the contrary, the church misrepresented to Jane A. Doe and her parents that Jane A. Doe was safe and sufficiently cared for while in the care and or presence of defendants. And by the way, I want to just put out there, I'm not saying that I believe this minor, that this person did this to her, allegedly. I believe her. I guess I'm just having a hard time with some of the phrasing that the Riveras knew, and that they were perfectly aware, because it's not really directly spelled out for us. I told them that this was happening. They keep saying they should have known. We gave them an indication that my experience or my daughter's experience was negative. Who knows? The defendant's behavior is more than concerning. They literally created a situation where the conditions enabled the abuse to happen after knowing about the risk. Totally agree. If they did know and they created a situation where parents were invited and they put Jane Doe in the same environment with MG without adults, yeah, that's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. I agree. Let's go on. Defendants failed to investigate or took no action in response to the 2018 allegations made by Mother A. Doe against MG at the Ignite Summer Internship and continued to allow MG unsupervised access to Jane A. Doe while Jane A. Doe was entrusted to their care in New York. Upon information and belief, defendants' failure to take corrective action in response to the 2018 allegations at the Ignite Summer Internship was consistent with an established, oh my gosh. All right. So what they're saying here is it's consistent with the way this church handled allegations of SA internally. They're saying this church was known to handle things internally to avoid public scrutiny and potential financial losses. I don't know how they know that, but that's pretty interesting. And then it says Jane A. Doe's SA by Ruben Taveras. In addition to the SA perpetrated by MG, Jane A. Doe was also SA'd by Ruben Taveras, an adult male and youth leader at Refuge. In approximately August of 2021, Taveras is the son of Refuge's associate pastor. Oh, okay. This church, yeah, if this is true, wow. For some time prior to his SA of Jane A. Doe, Taveras groomed and exhibited behaviors that signaled the risk that he would SA Jane Doe. The grooming and red flag behaviors occurred while the two attended Refuge events on premises owned, operated, and controlled by Refuge. Among other things, Taveras openly and showed inappropriate physical affection toward Jane Doe in plain view of employees, volunteers, and agents of Refuge. Okay, so then by 2021, the victim was 14, and this is the son of the associate pastor. I don't know how old he is, but I'm sure we can find out. Yeah, Sal, I don't know. I don't know who determined this other than Jane A. Doe and her mom. And it sounds like they should have known because they were either told or they were hinted or they were given hints that this is happening. This is my confusion, I guess, with some of the wording. Were they directly told or not? Okay, so back to the second half of this. In approximately late 2021 or early 2022, Taveras SA'd Jane Doe by engaging her in acts that would constitute a sexual offense under Article 130 of the New York Penal Law at Refuge, while Taveras was working as a Refuge youth leader, responsible for the safety and security of Jane A. Doe. That's really sad. Ugh. After the first incident of SA, Taveras continued his SA and exploitation of Jane Doe by forcing her to engage in graphic electronic communications of a sexual nature for several months until he was caught and confronted by Mother A. Doe. And at that time, Taveras admitted to his sexual misconduct with Jane A. Doe. At all relevant times, Tavares was an employee, volunteer, or agent of Refuge who knew and gained access to Jane Doe and through his role with Refuge. That's really sad when they take advantage, allegedly, of their roles in the church to take advantage of these kids. It's horrible. At all relevant times, Tavares was, oh, sorry, I read that. Refuge, by and through its respective agents, managers, employees, and directors, knew or through the exercise of reasonable care should have known that Tavares has a propensity, what? To engage in sexual misconduct with children he encountered by virtue of his leadership role in Refuge prior to 2021, yet they took no action to protect the minor Jane A. Doe from him. Okay, here we have once again that the church, quote, should have known that the associate pastor's son had a propensity to engage in sexual misconduct with children. What? Okay, I need to see if there are any exhibits here on this law. No, this is really interesting. There are no exhibits, I guess, showing that they, quote, should have known. This seems to be a theme here that everybody should have known, but I guess my question is how, unless they were told. Interesting. I'll go on with the suit before I get to the police reports, just in case there's anything else that. Okay. After the first incident of abuse, yeah, we did that. We did that. Okay. Tavares' SA of Jane Doe was accomplished in whole or in part by virtue of his position. Okay, did that. Defendant's failure to protect Jane A. Doe from abuse. At all times material, Jane A. Doe and those responsible for her safety and well-being entrusted her safety and well-being to the church and their agents. Defendants had a corresponding obligation and duty. Okay. So this is just more legal jargon about how the church is responsible. And then they go into basically defendants each had actual or constructive notice. I have such a hard time. I guess I just don't know which is it. Was it actual or was it not actual? That MG had previously SA'd Jane Doe and or otherwise posed a risk of harm for Jane Doe. And again, by the way, I feel really bad for this girl. I believe that this all happened to her. I really, really do believe her. Because, I mean, look, this stuff happens. And it's so sad that it happens more often than not in churches and, during church retreats and whatnot. This just goes on. It's basically recapping everything that they should have known and they should have acted on. It also says MG's SA of Jane Doe at defendant's barbecue was accomplished in whole or in part by virtue of defendant's failure to warn Jane A. Doe's parents of the risk of harm presented by MG to Jane A. Doe, the defendant's failure to develop and or enforce adequate child protection policies. Okay. Okay. This is all pretty much the same. This is the first cause of action, negligent supervision and retention of Tavares. I just want to see what they're seeking in damages. I don't know if it's going to say that, but let's try to find it. Refuge breached its duties and one or more. Okay. This is Brookview. Okay. So this is really interesting. I mean, it says they're demanding judgments against the defendants Refuge of Hope Church and defendants Brookview Rye LLC for respective causes of action, together with compensation and punitive damages and the interest cost pursuant to his causes of action and such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. Okay. So these allegations took place 2018, they started, and then 2021, they continued. And I want to get to the police report. This police report was filed. Let me share this. You can see this. So this was sent to me by Jane Doe and her mother's defense attorney. His name is Adam Horowitz. He's out of Florida. And it says, I blank was a member of Refuge of Hope Church. Oh, by the way, this is dated April 5th, 2022. Refuge of Hope Church in New Rochelle. In 2018, our pastor, Clara Rivera, recommended our daughter for a summer program at Ignite Life Center in Gainesville, Florida. The program lasted 2 weeks, and during those 2 weeks, blank was SA'd. The program was extended over to New Rochelle, New York in August of 2018. During this time, there was a pool party in Clara Rivera's home, and blank was left unsupervised in the pool with blank, who proceeded to forcibly touch blank in the pool. Blank described that blank asked her to stay in the pool with her and began touching her B and B. Blank said she had been touched so many times. Oh, she couldn't fight her off anymore. That's really sad. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's part one. I know there is totally no excuse for cover-ups here. I completely agree. No excuse at all. That's part one, the first police report. Here is the second one. Let me see if you can see this. This was Gainesville in 2023. I want to get down the incident investigation report. Okay, so this is where I'm just a little bit confused, I guess, because, and tell me if I'm wrong, this is the same time frame. This is April. So this police report is 4/5/2022, the one in Harrison, New York. And then the Gainesville one is dated, well, it says it starts with the narrative on Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Okay, so it's the same day, same date. So I'm assuming this is Jane A. Doe's mom. Now, hear me out, because this is where I'm just confused about what she says and about the dates. So it says on Tuesday, 4/5/2022, at approximately 13:31 hours, I spoke with blank over the phone in reference to an S battery involving her daughter. I was in uniform on the passenger seat, and Donnelly was driving. Blank stated that blank was SA'd while she was away for summer camp. Located in Gainesville in July of 2018. Both blank and blank currently reside at blank. Blank stated that blank was molested by blank, and it happened on 15 several occasions over a 2-week period when blank was 9 years of age and 13 years of age. Okay. Okay, listen to this part. I spoke to blank and she confirmed. Well, okay, listen to this part, but this is not the part I'm talking about. Sorry. I spoke to blank and she confirmed that blank did touch her, in which blank described. Blank stated that the first time blank touched her was at the camp in the bathroom. Blank stated that blank had her sit on her lap, saying that she doesn't believe in God and telling her to be quiet. Blank then touched blank's B and B under her shirt. While talking with me, blank started crying while describing this event. She needed a few minutes to collect herself. After a few minutes, blank stated 2 days later, blank snuck into her bunk bed at night while everyone was sleeping and began touching her and rubbing her B and through the inside of her pants. She also stated that blank rubbed the outside of her V, and then stated that she attempted to try to kiss her, but she was able to push her away. She said that she didn't scream because she was scared and she didn't want to wake everyone up. Blank transferred the phone back to, I'm assuming, her mom to speak with us. Okay. She stated it was the first time she became aware of the incident. It was 2 months ago, while blank was at a hospital for an unrelated injury. The doctor advised blank that there was something else wrong with blank, not relating to the physical injury she was originally there for. The hospital then contacted DCF, in which they located LEO in New York. Law enforcement officers advised to call the Gainesville Police Department to make a report. Blank stated that she was contacted by DCF investigator Taisha Hillary with the Mount Vernon Child Protective Services. Okay, am I crazy here? I feel like Jane Doe or Mother Doe, I thought she said she was told about this in 2018, or she had told the Riveras. I need to go back to the lawsuit to check on this at this point because this is a little confusing. I'm going back to the lawsuit because you guys all heard that. Tell me if I hear something incorrect. I'll go back to both. She stated it was the first time she became aware of the incident. It was 2 months ago while she was at the hospital for an unrelated injury. And then the doctor said, "Oh, you better check into something else." And then they called DCS. This was 2022. Maybe I missed something in the lawsuit, maybe a timeline. I don't think I did, but I'm going back to the statement of facts. Okay. Let's go back to the camp. The camp was 2018, in or around 2018. We're 2018, 2018, 2018. Okay. While she was there at 2018 at the Ignite Summer Camp, she was sporadically allowed to call her parents. During one particular phone call, her mother learned information that made her concerned about her safety at the summer camp. So this can't be the abuse because mom just said she didn't learn about it until 2022. Okay, so something else was going on that we don't know about. I'm going to go back to that suit for a second. So, as a result of this information, Mother Doe called Clara Rivera to report that she was concerned for her daughter's safety at the summer camp. And then in response, Rivera assured Mother A. Doe that she would investigate Mother A. Doe's report and respond accordingly. And that's when Clara Rivera and Mariana Rivera flew from New York to Florida to see Jane Doe at the Ignite Life summer internship. And then it says during that trip, the Riveras, in their capacity as agents for the church, received information that should have given them concern that Jane A. Doe was being SA'd by MG. Rather than take sufficient action to end the SA of Jane A. Doe or otherwise reasonably investigate the unsafe conditions that led to Mother A. Doe's report to Miss Rivera. Okay, so I guess they're talking about two different things. There is an unsafe report, and then there is the SA allegation. So it seems to me that Jane Doe told the Riveras before she told her mom, which totally makes sense. I mean, I can understand why it might be shameful and difficult to tell your parents, but maybe you look to your church leaders, and especially knowing that they run the summer camp and they run the church. That's really interesting, though. And that's when it says, rather than take sufficient action to end the SA of Jane Doe or otherwise reasonably investigate the unsafe conditions that led to Mother A. Doe's report to Ms. Rivera, the Riveras each separately isolated and intimidated Jane A. Doe to remain silent about her negative experiences at the summer internship, including her abuse by MG. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that I believe this victim, and I believe that maybe she did tell them and they were like, no, we're going to fix this here. Maybe that is what happened. I mean, that seems pretty direct, that right there in the lawsuit. And I'll read it one more time. It says, Ms. Rivera, or sorry, the Riveras each separately isolated and intimidated Jane Doe to remain silent about her negative experiences at the summer internship, including her abuse by MG, to avoid causing trouble for Refuge and the Ignite Summer Life internship. Okay. All right. So that is one thing that seems pretty cut and dry. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. It's true. All children and young people need protection. It doesn't matter if it's from family, a family friend, church leader, teacher, etc. These children need protection and to feel like they can seek help. I totally agree. And it's so sad because you can see why people don't come forward, because they are either allegedly shushed, silenced, or made to feel like they are cuckoo. And it's so unfair. So unfair. I do want to go down a bit on this incident investigation report. Then Mother Doe says, I provided blank, or sorry, The police says, I provided blank the case report number. I contacted DCF and they stated that this case does not meet their criteria and will not be investing by them. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why. What is the DCF criteria here? Is there a statute on, I don't know, on allegations for DCF? That's super interesting. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so going down incident report suspect list, this is juvenile. Okay, now this is April 14th. This appears to be about 10 days later. I made contact with blank via the phone. We spoke about the incident report. Blank told me there had been incidents of inappropriate touching in New York, and those had also been reported. I'm assuming this is Mother Doe. Blank explained her daughter was traumatized by the incident and they would be moving soon to create separation from the incidents and offender. Blank spoke about what she felt like was S misconduct within the church and said the pastor's son was having S with younger girls in the church. Blank said the pastor was Mark Vega and his son was Christian. Ooh, should I be saying that? I think Christian is not a minor. Okay, yes, Christian's not a minor. I can say it. Blank explained her daughter had screenshots and a voice memo from a girl named blank blank who is blank years of age who had S with Christian. Blank believed Christian to be 20 or 21 years old. I provided an evidence.com link for the screenshots and recording. Okay, so now Christian will be a lot older because this is 2022. Blank had reported these incidents to her church, but felt like it was ignored and dismissed. The incidents were reported to DCF in Florida and CPS in New York. So again, it sounds like the associate pastor's son had a relationship with another minor at the church, and Mother A. Doe reported this to the church, and they didn't do anything. That's what this police incident report says. Are you guys with me? Is this I know this is really gross, and I'm confused at why DCS couldn't really do anything here. I really have to look into that. It doesn't meet their criteria. So bizarre. Okay. New Rochelle report. I contacted the New Rochelle Police Department of New York, who provided an incident report taken. That report indicates that blank and blank believe that God would take care of the bad behavior and did not wish to involve the police. That is where I speculated that it was Mariano and Clara Rivera that said that. The report also documented they do not wish for me to contact blank or any guardians at this time because blank is traumatized and would like to move forward with her life. Again, I don't have proof that that's necessarily what the Riveras said, but in the lawsuit, it says that she went to the Riveras, so I'm just assuming. This was a supplemental report that indicated that blank had reported an incident that occurred in New York, but was determined to have occurred in Rye Police Department's jurisdiction. The report stated blank was reluctant to allow the officer to speak with blank because of the trauma she was experiencing. These reports did not have any identifying information for blank. Okay. Now this is from October 11th, 2023, and it says it's the case status is inactive and closed, and then it says all leads exhausted. I made contact with a Detective Caputo with Rye PD. Detective Caputo remembered reporting the incident to him, but never spoke with blank. Detective Caputo advised the incident actually occurred in Harrison, New York, and it was referred to their jurisdiction. I made contact with the supervising detective of Harrison. He was unable to find any report regarding the incident, and he didn't have blank or blank in his system. That's really weird. Okay, this part is a little sexual. I don't know if I should really get into it. I reviewed the recording, and this was the evidence.com review, and I heard a young female disclosing that she gave Kristen, that's the associate pastor, she performed a favor for him in the sexual nature. But the recording of the incident, it was clear that the incident was consensual. And I located a blank, 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 which was consistent with the information provided by blank and photographs and the screenshots. With the information provided, I located Christian Vargas, who is identified as being Mark's son, and he confirmed the incident happened about a week before Christian's birthday, which would all be consistent with Vargas. Blank would have been blank years old, and Vargas would have been 18 years old at the time of this incident. And that would be non-criminal based off their ages. Based off the New Rochelle report, Blank did not want Blank contacted or police involvement because of the trauma to Blank. It does not appear the report was ever made in the Harrison jurisdiction. There's no identifying information for Blank, but an age. And because of the Blank residing in New York, I have no way of following up on this information. Okay. So no, it sounds, sorry, I don't think that so what the mom or the daughter had told the mom, that ended up not really checking out, because apparently it was consensual and they were of age. So that didn't really matter. Okay, so with all of that, sorry, I had to nice little close up of my double chin. Oh, you're welcome. No, with all of that, now I'm a little bit confused, because this definitely, there won't be any sort of criminal complaint here, I guess, because the police report was closed and they seem to have insufficient information because Jane Doe was too traumatized to file another report in the proper jurisdiction. I mean, this is confusing. I feel really bad. I don't want to blast anyone too quickly, but obviously when you hear this, it's really tough to not believe that there is some truth to it, just knowing what goes on in certain churches and what they do to cover up this type of disgusting behavior, because they don't want the publicity. So that is really easy to it's really easy to believe, in my opinion. Whether or not the Riveras knew or they didn't know, I mean, that's tough. It sounds to me like Jane Doe did tell them. And it sounds to me like when Jane Doe's mother called the Riveras and told them something else was going on, something else that we don't know, but Jane Doe was very uncomfortable. They flew there right away. And as I mentioned, maybe they had already planned to fly there. I'm not sure. They needed to visit the summer camp, but it's strange. And Mariano Rivera has a really good reputation. So this was shocking to a lot of people. I don't know what to think right now. I didn't like the verbiage in the lawsuit. I really didn't. I'm clearly not a lawyer, but I read a lot of these, and I thought it was kind of unclear on whether or not they were directly told, except for that one part when Jane Doe stated clearly and concisely that she was intimidated and isolated. So that was the one part that I thought was, yeah, that this is so weird. I don't know what to think, but I wanted to go over it with everybody as soon as I saw this last night. Oh, and I did want to go over the lawyer's website, because he had some more information. Let me search that right now about, I think it was about another case. Florida. And I'd be interested to see if if they have this letter, this 2022 financial demand letter that they spoke of in the New York Post article. Oh, thanks for coming, Sinead. I know this was super last minute, but oh my gosh, is it 4:15? Shoot, I literally have to go get my kids. Dang it. Why do I do this? I need to set an alarm or something. This is so crazy. Okay. Really quick. Where is this? Really quick. I love this. I'm going to be late now. I'm crazy. This is okay. Legal blog. Okay, here it is. Okay, really, really quick. Supreme Court lawsuit. We saw this. Okay. So then it says, notably, 3 men associated with the same Florida church and summer camp, Ignite Life Center in Gainesville, Florida, have been arrested for SAing kids within the past 18 months. Like Tavares, 2 of the men arrested are sons of Ignite Life pastors and themselves serve as church leaders. 2 of the men, Gabriel Jimenez and Noel Cruz, accepted plea deals and have been sentenced in Alachua County Criminal Court. Okay. So, I mean, this is not completely out of the ordinary here. Right? So we've kind of seen that there is some corroboration within the church. But anyway, I have to go. I have to go get my children, so I'm not late. Thank you for joining this very fast, quick live stream to go over everything. I have a lot of questions. I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt here, but I'm glad that we went over this. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining. Bye.